So we talked about what we were looking to buy on regular Prime Day in July. Now, what are we looking at for fall Prime Day? Anything on your mind already? It's only, as of this recording, probably about a month out. What are we looking for deals-wise?
Ooh, that's a good one. Water bottle for James with his new rowing machine.
That would be wonderful, but I'm always thinking about not myself, and I've been looking for the 12-foot skeleton for my wife, because every time we go through the mountains, there's like 4 or 5 houses that have the 12-foot skeleton, and they love to have it, and it's all year round. They have them dressed up as Easter Bunny, and so my wife really loves it. And so I'm looking for a 12-foot boyfriend for my wife to play with.
There you go. Eric, anything crazy?
I bought that Echo. What was it? The Echo
the
Spot?
show?
No, the Echo
Show.
the Echo Show, and I want one in every single one of my
There you go.
rooms.
So you're a restock.
I absolutely love it.
I think if you buy them in bulk, it's cheaper.
It's awesome, isn't it, Eric? It's so cool.
Yeah, I have it in my kitchen. It's fantastic. I want it in the bathroom for showering, and then in the bedroom. And I want to be able. I think I've heard somebody that say that you can actually link them. So my Spotify.
Yep.
Yeah, my Spotify, I could have it playing throughout the whole house. So that'd
be neat.
That's the excitement there.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Velocity Sellers Podcast. I am your host, Velocity Pete, and today I am joined by two of our amazing fountains of knowledge, Eric and James. We're here to talk about Fall Prime Day, or if you want to get technical, Prime Big Deal Days. It's not Prime Big Deals Day because there's multiple days. It's Prime Big Deal Days. Big deals happening on these days, but the deal in the title is singular. So with that being said, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on to talk to me about tips and tricks on how to maximize your success and really just how to approach this really sales holiday. And everyone out there, if you are liking what you're hearing after the end of this episode, do not forget to like and subscribe. We would appreciate your support in bringing you the latest Amazon news and all the different tricks to help you succeed on Amazon. Gentlemen, let's get into it. So, Prime Big Deal Days, tongue twister. It's the second biggest, I would say, well, maybe not. It's probably the third biggest, I would say, between regular Prime Day in July and then Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? This is more of a smaller holiday. I feel like people are really gearing up for Black Friday. They're not going to be shopping as much as they would on Prime Day in the middle of the year, or of course in Christmas time when they forget to get a gift for somebody. So I'm excited to talk about this one, but I know it's not. You're not moving mountains here.
I mean, but you're gonna get nice supplemental sales. I was gonna say supplemental income, but it's more sales, right? Another big events bring a lot of people in, more sales for you to enjoy. The nice thing about this thing is that it's coming up right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So I think we might have talked about this in the past, but in case we didn't, or in case you missed that episode. It's a good way to start trying to get that reference price indexing on anything, so you're ready to go for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So what Prime Big Deal Days is, it's historically it's in the middle of October. My bet is that it's going to be, I believe I was guessing it's going to be on the 8th or the 9th or the 15th and the 16th. Not 100% on that. That is a bold guess. Every time I try to guess when it comes out, I'm wrong. So it's probably going to be the 22nd, 23rd. I don't know. But anyway, probably not. It's probably going to be the 8th or the 9th or the 15th, 16th. But it's historically in the middle of October. This is a good opportunity just for sellers to just kind of get more people interested in coming to Amazon because of everybody knows that there's going to be that Black Friday, Cyber Monday. There might be a little bit of window shopping throughout October. This is a good opportunity to just start kind of getting some more sales. I'll just kind of pass it over to James. I'm sure he's got something to say about all that too.
Yep. I've seen it used as a strategy to kind of boost, to carry into the Q4, right? It's a real good launch pad, so to speak. Best practices used in July for the July Prime. Summer Prime event, you implement those in your October, and we do see a good push for your Black Friday, Cyber Monday, your gifting days as well. So it's a great way to get a good start. But I think, Eric, if you haven't set inventory in for that event, you're pretty much missed out. So inventory should be on its way now, right? I think that's what they said. The cutoff is already passed. So it better be on its way to Amazon, or your PBDD is not going to be really good.
Right. Yes. No, you're at your SOL there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah.
You were quick with that. That was good. No, yeah. The goal here, folks, is that at the time of this recording and the time of really the posting of this episode, you have inventory on their way or already arrived to prep for PBDD, PBD squared, PB double D. Either way, doesn't matter. One way or another, inventory is on the way to FBA if you're an FBA seller, and you have it, or if you're an FBM seller, you have it ready to go to be, keep up with all the different volume coming out.
And then to jump on that, sorry to cut you off there. If you are FBM and you're not really sure maybe you're a new seller this year, maybe things are going well and you kind of scaled up your business a little bit, but maybe you only have a couple of team members in your warehouse. Maybe your website's doing well, whatever. We're going to talk about capacity just really quick. Prime Big Deal Days is kind of a good, what would you call it? Like a litmus test for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because if you do really well on, in October for this, and your warehouse team does not have the capacity to keep up, this is a good way to kind of go, okay, I need to like scale up my operation for Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of those nice,
great tests.
Like, it's like a nice soft launch for the big holiday event that comes up. So be mindful of that. Learn some lessons. Do what you can in your operations, and just kind of pivot, because historically Black Friday, Cyber Monday is a much bigger sale event. And then and I'm not trying to talk about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but last year it was a 7-day event. So it's not a 4-day event. I'm assuming it'll be a 7-day event again this year. So just keep that in mind when you guys are kind of thinking about your operations.
Yeah.
The full week of the in-between. Yeah. James.
Yeah, your whole week. It's also a really good time to potentially launch, like Eric was saying, good time to test and A/B test your warehouse, your capacity, your growth there. But great time to maybe launch a product, right? If you already got a product, just because you got during these events, you have more eyeballs, right? It's getting delivered to a lot more people. So why not launch a product at that particular time as a soft launch, like Eric was mentioning, and then you can really, get the more traffic and so forth, and it'll be indexed by the time you hit Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and kind of finish the year out. That way you can kind of catapult you for the new year as well. How you do in Q4 really does shape your following year. It really does. That tsunami effect does carry over.
So like, when you don't have to like say, hey, I got to get my R&D going and I got to get my whole entire marketing team going to launch a new product, right? New products are difficult to launch. They take months of research and all that kind of stuff. Don't underestimate a 2-pack, a 4-pack, a variety pack. If you're selling through FBM, right, your warehouse is going to pick, pack, ship that. It's very little risk. And if you have a single, maybe you're selling peanut butter or I don't know, ranch dressing cups, whatever it is. Bundle it, make an attractive price, because now somebody might be like, oh, if I buy this one unit at $8.99, but then the 2-pack is $12.99. Now you're going to increase your buyer, what is it, cost per buyer or price per buyer,
average
or whatever
order.
Average order.
Thank you, average order. So that'll help bring in a little bit more sales. But the key here is if it's 2-pack, 4-pack, 5-pack, variety pack, whatever, you can put them on a variation. And then, so if you won't have a reference price, but you can still like piggyback off your winning listing that already has a reference price that you've been selling on for years. You put the 2-pack on, they're not going to have a reference price, but at least you can lower the price to make it desirable for an upsell on that listing. You get some sales during Prime Big Deal Day, then you're ready to go with a reference price on Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not something that is anything to say, okay, well, I don't really want to participate too heavily in um, PBDD because, like, I want to save my inventory for Black Friday, or I want to do this. And I'm sure realistically, probably no one is saying I want to miss out on sales, but um, and not do this. But I can understand the fear. Maybe you guys don't agree. Maybe you have a different opinion on this, but um, again, it's like it goes back to that supermarket example that I maybe told last time, where it's super easy to order for Thanksgiving because everything that you use in the store in Thanksgiving that you don't use, that you don't sell, can just be used for Christmas. But when you have to reorder for Christmas, it's hard because then it carries into the new year. People aren't shopping as much, and so you might end up with a lot of missed inventory. So I don't know if people are maybe like a couple months ago when they were ordering product from their manufacturer, if they said, okay, I'm going to order a lot. I'm going to really focus in on Cyber Monday and Black Friday, but I'm not going to care as much about Prime Big Deals Day, Prime Big Deal Days. I said it wrong, because I really want to hone in on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So I know that inventory process can be a bit of a struggle, especially for people that are maybe new to this and don't have a maybe established business outside of Amazon where they're primarily an Amazon seller. So any thoughts on just really how to order and how to prepare? Like, should you be ordering an excess amount and hope that you still have some left over for Black Friday? Or should you have a set limit of how many units you want to send in for Prime Big Deals Day? What are your thoughts there?
I've seen clients use it, this event for kind of the stragglers throughout the year, the excess inventory. That might be a good way, as items are being received in for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and not quite received yet. Just maybe that's their mentality. Have a look at some of the underperforming ASINs or SKUs out there and put those, because you're going to get a lot more visibility. It's a longer stretch. So instead of 2 days, you got the full week event. You should be able to clear a lot of inventory out there. That way, in the future, you might be able to send some more in, but also you don't want to pay extra storage fees and excess storage fees, because obviously in October they're increased, right? Your fees are a lot more than during the non-holiday months. So, Eric, do you see something similar, or where do you see?
Yeah, it's really going to be kind of a internal conversation about how you want to approach it. You can do like layered strategies too. I mean, you can be like, let's put in 20% extra inventory for our top 20%. Let's do a long tail heavy discount to get some of this stuff out of excess. So you can do like multiple different strategies, and that's totally good. If you're worried about being, out of inventory for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you have still time. Depending on when this episode airs, you have to have your inventory received by October 19th. So if you send your inventory by October 1st into Amazon, you should be good to go. If you miss that October 19th, we can't guarantee that your inventory is going to be there. You might not get in until December or January. So if you are not selling a holiday product or a risky product, I would just say put in 20-30% extra inventory than you normally would. And then just if you have any extra inventory, you got January 1st through the 31st, you got New Year, New Me. So if you're selling a product that maybe is more health conscious, like a sporting good or, soft good, sporting good, soft good, whatever, then like you can capitalize on January to get rid of some of that excess inventory. But the worst thing that can happen is you put a lot of effort in to grow your account. You hit up July Prime Day. You did a really good job there. Your BSR is rocking. You do Prime Day in October, and then you sell out of inventory, and you didn't send any extra, and now you're out of inventory for the next 60 days because Amazon's so backed up. So be very, very, very mindful of that. I know it's a little bit extra in storage fees and stuff, but sometimes you got to kind of calculate that risk. Sometimes you need a short-term loss for a long-term gain. So just kind of look at your numbers internally and make the best decision for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen where, that Q4 inventory that's coming in, always try to calculate January, right? Because you got the gift card effect coming in. So you do have opportunities to sell through that inventory. It's not like, there's not going to be a lot of traffic. It's really good to, 2.5 months of good traffic on Amazon from, not counting the PBDD, but Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and January, kind of mid-January, because you also got to think in January, you might have some returns coming back. So you might have some of that inventory coming back into sellable goods as well, just because January is notorious for a spike in returns.
Yeah. You get all these gifts and you give them, hey, can you mind? I had that happen a couple times where Secret Santa, I don't know if you guys would do that or if you do the, what's the other one, like the white elephant, but I had someone for Secret Santa and they said, oh, the thing you got me was great, but it's not the right size. And I had to issue the return, all that kind of good stuff. So that's definitely bound to happen. It's definitely something that not only, like you said, James, I love that gift card effect. You should patent that. Get that trademarked. I'm sure. I don't know if that's something that you came up with or that term, but either way,
gift card.
Take credit for that. But it's definitely something to consider because, and also something else to consider that I was going to mention too is also, we talked about this on the logistics episode a little while back for just preparing for Q4. But you're going to get an order in for Black Friday, right? You're going to send your product in, all that kind of good stuff. January, at the end of January, I want to say, the beginning of February is the Chinese New Year. And so you will probably not, I would say more likely than not, be able to get product in until after that's over. So it's like James said, really good idea to take advantage and order a little bit more into January because you're not going to get some in until maybe like mid-February, right? Till after they're done. Then you got to send it over on the shipments and then they got to, you got to process it in the US and all that kind of good stuff or wherever it is that you get it shipped to. But it's going to be a longer wait than you might think at the end of the year to get more products over from your manufacturer.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like AWD is always an option too. So that's a good opportunity. If you just want to shove all your inventory at AWD, it's a little bit cheaper than going straight into FBA, and then AWD will fulfill those fulfillment centers for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, more and more are using that. So I'm hearing some pretty decent things on that. So
we use AWD. I'm sure we have some partners, right, that use it along with AGL, and it works out. It's a good combo. I mean, Amazon is the biggest shipping dynasty in the world. So it makes no surprise to me that they are good at, doing this kind of stuff. So definitely something to consider. So as you're approaching PBDD, obviously, like we mentioned, you have to have your inventory in already. There's nothing you can do about that past September 9th. But as the days lead up, what are some things you guys are doing to help our partners prepare? What are some things that you guys are doing, maybe let's say like the week leading up to it? I know for fall Prime or for regular Prime Day in July, you do that discount a little bit before and a little bit after to kind of capture some of that increased traffic. Are we doing something similar? Like what's the plan? What's the runway? What's the takeoff? And what's the touchdown of PBDD?
Well, so, and James, I'm sure you had some thoughts on this. So we usually, at Velocity here, we usually try not to touch a listing within like kind of 30-ish days of a big event, right? You don't want to be updating a title. You don't want to be updating bullet points because then the algorithm has to rescrape and reposition, and it can play a little bit of havoc on your searchability. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get your listings retail ready a good amount of time before that event. Make sure that you got your best foot forward. Your listing looks good. Your titles are good. Everything's good. And then don't make any changes. I want to call out that recently we noticed that the AI system on Amazon is starting to scroll your listings. You can find it go into that little hamburger on top, go down to add products, go to catalog, I think, right? No, what is it? I'm screwing it up. It's catalog, then add products. And then there's going to be like a little data entry, little data box or whatever. Go past that bottom right corner. It'll say new product selection. Click there, one tab over, and then it'll have Amazon's AI recommendations. And that can kind of give you kind of a heads up of what they're looking at and what they think is important. And so make sure that you go in there and you fill those data points out. Go into your listing like you're a shopper. Make sure that everything's consistent. If you have a variation, if it's 1-pack, 2-pack, 3-pack, or it's a blue, red, yellow, they all say the like right underneath it'll say like your title, and then it's got your price and everything, and then right underneath there's like product details, and there's some data points there that can oftentimes be inconsistent. One might say fluid ounces, one might say ounces, one might say ounces. Yeah. Count. Exactly.
So crazy.
So make sure all of that looks good. You like all of that information is going to be super helpful for the customer to make the best buying decision that they can. And don't be shy of comparison charts. Then I'll just pass it over to James.
Yeah, no, good points on that, Eric. I think, obviously retail ready is the number one key, right? Is how is your front facing, your image stacks look? How does your A+ pages look? Is your storefront optimized, right? Do you have maybe a deals page on your storefront? Okay. So getting things prepared, right? Making it easier for the shopper to find those deals, but also, driving traffic through PPC to those individual pages as well. So you want to kind of utilize all the different resources that are available. The Amazon gives those tools for you, right? Amazon Post, load up your posts, have them staggered. Don't just do it all on the same day. Just have it scheduled one a day over that course of that, even prior, not necessarily the day of, because you got to let it kind of it has to get approved. Then it's got to go through population, so forth and so on. So I would definitely recommend 30 days in advance, just start scheduling some posts, let them start getting indexed. So there's a lot of different creative ways to really see if you can capitalize on all those, different features within, Amazon gives us now, right? Amazon Live is, every time I show people, the Amazon Live in the app itself, it's amazing, right? Why not if you haven't experimented with Live yet, start playing with it. It's a free app. The actual live video goes on the storefront. It's on the storefront while you are live. Okay. So that is super huge, right? So you can maybe do some off-platform marketing, use social channels saying, hey, we're going live, and start promoting it that way. And have that assisted sale. So are you doing everything possible, or utilizing every single tool that Amazon has to promote that product to try to have as much success as possible?
No, and I love that. And I think we sometimes miss exploring that more, or not enough as we should. Those store pages are huge. Go ahead and make a seasonal store. You can make, I don't know if there's a cap on it, but I know for a fact you can at least make 4 stores, one store per season. So if you want to do like Thanksgiving, cornucopia, Halloween colors, or even a back to school store, or whatever sort of like season you want to capture, especially if you're like outerwear, make sure that you have that store kind of changing those colors, changing those styles. And just like James said, you can customize that whole thing. You can put a deal page on there. Your posts are going to live there. There's so many things, so many opportunities there that I think people overlook. You can be as brand aware as you want. You can tell your story there. You can do recipes. You can do it yourself. You can start to become an educator. Like, it is like a website on Amazon. Do not miss that opportunity at all. And make sure that you just kind of pivot with the times. Keep updating that thing, maybe once a month, maybe once a season, but you can even set it and forget it with those auto schedulers based on the store pages. So don't miss that opportunity. Take advantage.
Yeah. And they're adding a lot more like creative, I guess, opportunities for Amazon sellers to do. Like, I keep seeing on LinkedIn all these different posts about, hey, they added this new thing to the storefront. Hey, they're making storefronts basically your own, and there already are your own webpage on Amazon, but they're really leaning into that whole, like, this is your space. We're going to give you a lot of room to be a little bit more creative and do a little more things, and really just appeal to the customers obviously on Amazon's website, but they're really adding a lot more features, I'll say, to make it a little bit more exciting. So definitely something to take advantage of.
And then the other thing I really also want to mention too is, so right now It is September 12th. You can cut that out if you want. I don't know if you want to have that in the recording, but like up to the day of, you are going to be able to check the box in Prime exclusive discounts. Okay, you'll go in there. You're gonna make a Prime exclusive discount. You're gonna check the box. It says, "Is this a Prime Day deal?" Yes. Check that box. It'll automatically put. You won't know the dates, but then you can start adding your ASINs. Get that done as soon as you can, because you're gonna have errors. You're going to have a lot of errors sometimes, depending on your catalog. If you only have like 5 ASINs, you're probably fine. If you have 5,000, you're going to have problems. So get those things fixed. The other thing it's going to call out is your reference price. If you don't have a reference price, you're going to have to pivot your strategy. And then the other call out that I want to make sure to mention about Prime exclusive discounts, they are now adding a $50 fee for every 100 ASINs that you put in there.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yep.
It's not that bad. It's not like a lightning deal where it's like $1,000 to run a lightning deal. So it's not too bad, but
True.
it's still kind of annoying. But just keep that in mind when you're looking at your margin. If you have a dollar margin and you do this, you're going to have to sell at least 50 units to break even. So
You shouldn't be selling on Amazon.
I mean, you shouldn't sell it. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
2-pack, 3-pack,
Yeah.
5-pack.
I mean, if you're a small business
Right.
out of your garage, $1 a unit, that's beer money, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good
No
living if
doubt,
you got some
no doubt.
velocity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that goes along with everything. If you have coupons, if you're gonna do buy one, BOGOs, like all of those things, get those things up immediately and then just watch them like a hawk. Sometimes weird things will happen to your ASIN and then something will trigger. So like it could just get suppressed because of who knows. So, but you just want to make sure that everything says scheduled. When it's every single item says scheduled, you are good to go. You can take a deep breath and chill out. Now, the other thing, and that's James, you have anything to add to that?
No, you just finish your thought there, and I'll
Yeah. And then the last thing is just remember that you have to be the lowest price in the last 30 days. So if you start getting cute with some prices within that 30-day window, and you set up those Prime exclusive discounts, they're gonna throw an error that says something like you haven't been the lowest price, or must be 5% below last price. So again, if you're doing stuff and moving things around while you're waiting for the Prime big deal days, make sure that you're constantly double backing on those promotions, because potentially they could be busted and you wake up at 10 a.m. in the morning to go check your sales, and your deals haven't been running for 10 hours.
Right. Yeah, and it takes forever, right? When you make that change, possibly either they might not accept it, or they'll say, hey, it's 24 hours before it could take effect. You pretty much missed it. But just to add to that, those are some good points, Eric. I think if in some cases, if you don't have the time, or you've tried everything possible to clear out those errors and you just can't, one great way is, let's say you have 100 ASINs, and you have 10 that you just can't fix. You're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with them. What you can do is create a markdown sale, remove them out of your Prime exclusive, and create a markdown sale with those 10. Okay. It's a lot easier than if you have the time, then great. But if you're crunched for time, that's a great way to at least get the promo, a markdown sale. Hopefully you'll have the strike through. You won't get the badge. Hopefully other things on that parent, if it's a parent-child, will have the badge, so you could get a little bit of halo lift out of that if it's on a variation. The days of back in the day, we used to, if there was an error, we always used to slap up a coupon. Those were like the most error-free type of promotions that we could do. Not anymore. They're following almost the same criteria as a Prime exclusive discount. They'll flag them. You're not the lowest reference price. You're not. So you could have the same errors now as a Prime exclusive as you do on coupons. So be very careful of those type of deals. And the other thing to mention too, seeing great results out of brand tailored promotions. These are like abandoned cart, new to brand, at-risk customers. I would run those too, but you got to keep in mind those are stackable. So if those individuals see that they have a promo, they can also add an additional promo to that. So you can stack those promos, but I'm seeing a lot of good results out of, if you have 10,000 people, the take rate isn't like massively high. All 10,000 aren't going to convert. That would be great if it did, but I don't think any platform that happens. But if you do get like a 0.5% conversion, maybe 100 people might be able to stack orders. Not it's not as a big deal, but I do recommend doing as much as you can. Maybe a 10% extra discount on brand tailored promotions. It could be a strategy after post event, right? They've abandoned carts. Your abandoned cart is going to spike like crazy. I guarantee it. So that might be a good Jan 1 type of promo for the new year. Just run brand tailored promotion, and use that as a post strategy and a Q1 launch strategy for kind of get some lift out of your account.
Yeah. And to piggyback off that, so when you guys go in there, so you're going to go to advertising, and then it'll be Prime brand tailored discounts at the very bottom of that. You're going to click your brand, hit create campaign. It's going to give you a list of stuff. That huge list of things is where you're going to see like new to brand customers or high risk customers or cart abandoners, like everything that James kind of said. I'm just piggybacking on this because if you at the very top, there's going to be a link that says like I don't know what it's called, like help, like whatever the link is on the very, very top. It's like above the graph of the stuff. You click in there and it's going to have a nice table, and it's going to tell you exactly when those campaigns refresh. So if you run, I'm just going to say, I don't know, brand followers. Whatever. So let's say we do a brand follower one, and if it refreshes once a month, and I'm not exactly sure when that cadence is. I don't know if it's on the 1st of the month, 15th of the month, but if you plan that one, like on the day after, October Prime, you might actually be pulling from September because it hasn't refreshed yet. So be mindful of which one of those in the cadence it's in. I do know like the brand cart abandoners, that's every week. So that's a good one immediately, like on the Monday after, because if it refreshes on Monday, you're going to kind of capture that event. But with those other ones, you might have to run, starting November 1st to kind of grab the October, group. So be mindful. And then you also got to remember, like exactly what James said, that stuff is going to stack. So be careful with these two big events that are coming. Maybe you just want to start running all of these things in December, because then they might be able to kind of grab October and November. So just be mindful of that.
Great
kind
point.
of, yeah, just play with that a little bit. And then also you can always go into brand analytics. Brand analytics is starting to get pretty robust. You can start kind of seeing your demographics and stuff, and start building your listings based on that. If it's married women ages 45 to 55, start putting married women ages 45 to 55 in your images. So anyway, that's probably a whole nother conversation.
That's a great point, Eric. And I think, when you look at that data as well, and then you're also looking at your posting data, what imagery is getting the most traffic, right? The most viewpoints, as well as if you're running B2B and you have some B2B pricing, you can even see by industry type of who's buying your product. So you can kind of cater your image, cater the statistics or data that you're seeing to and reflect in the imagery, future imagery as well. So again, all this is data mining. I think, if you're able to kind of really see what's relevant and kind of see what Amazon and what that Amazon buyer looks like, you could really, analyze that data and create a really nice experience or target the right demographic. Let's just say you're selling a kid's shoe. You don't want to have, dad, you don't want to have, dogs, right? You want to make sure that you cater your imagery to the product itself.
But
you might.
But if your demographic is millennials, younger millennials, and what is it, Zoomers like Pete, like they're not having kids.
Am I a Zoomer? No.
Are you a Zoomer? Is he a Zoom? He's a Zoomer. He's got to be.
I'm in 1999. I thought it was like 2010 on was the. I think I'm Gen Z.
I have no idea.
I think they're Gen
Are you
Alpha.
Gen Z?
The Zoomers are Gen Alpha.
I think. Alpha.
Okay.
I think my.
All right. Well, all of those groups.
Anyway, yeah.
they're not they're not like they're not having children at a faster rate. So like you could utilize they're having pet kids,
Fur babies.
fur
There
babies.
you go.
babies.
That's what they're called. So like start thinking that way. Like, okay, if my demographic is this, then I'm going to do this. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
We're talking Prime Big Deal days. All right, here we go. I'm sorry. So and then also guys, don't forget about your ads. Whoever your PPC manager is, right? If it's you, if it's another department, if it's another teammate, whatever happens, make sure they are watching all of the metrics during the day. You don't want to like run out of inventory. You don't want to run out of PPC spend at 10 a.m. when you have, 36 more hours left to go. You want to make sure that you kind of keep. I don't even know if that math plays. Is that math play?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm still trying to compute it.
It's like-
it might work.
yeah, like 46 hours, So make sure that you're not running out at noon or at 1. Kind of keep feeding that. Make sure they're watching if you're, your ROAS, if it's where you want it, or for your tacos or ACOS, whatever metrics you're watching, make sure that those aren't running wild. Keep them, bring them down, pull them up. But your ads manager or your PPC manager is going to have a busy day making sure that those things are running smooth.
Yeah. So make sure they get extra support. So.
And then
Yeah, but yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go on. No, you're doing
And
good.
then the other thing too is so like going back to like if you build out a new store page, if you're building out like that holiday store page, let your PPC manager know that as well. You're gonna want them sending brand campaigns and that traffic to those new store page. If you have a deals page, if you have a certain holiday page, if you're depending on what your strategy is and what your products are and what you're doing, make sure that your brand or your PPC manager knows exactly who to be sending the traffic to.
Great point, Eric. I think on that, I saw some data on a lot of people just buy from homepage, but I'm seeing a lot more actually sales coming from the individual navigation page, right? Especially if and I'm just referencing like we have let's say you're selling maps, for instance, school maps. You can do it by subject, and then have those maps in the subject. That way, when teachers are buying, instead of going to the homepage, you're kind of trying to figure out what's more relevant for me. You could actually, here's a math map, here's a, Spanish map. And then you can actually put those, you can direct advertising straight to those individual pages to optimize, right? The easier it is to find what they're looking for, the higher your conversion, your click-through and conversion is going to be much higher as well. Great point, Eric. I think that a lot of people miss that step.
Well, to go back to what you just said too, like there's this beautiful new data set on the store page. I think it's called like engagements. It's got wonderful data in there. So if we're going to segue into what we do like after the fact, we would want you to like look at your brand analytics. Who was buying your products? What was your ad results? What campaigns were working the best? Pivot those. What data are you seeing on your store? Look at that stuff. Which items were desirable? Which items had the conversion rates that you wanted? Just start diving into that data and then come up with a new plan to maximize Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because you're gonna have time to do all of that stuff before the event. The only thing that you don't really have a lot of time on is two things: inventory, and if you want to run a lightning deal or a best deal. For whatever reason, they really like to have those way ahead of time. So keep in your mind if you want to play with those or not. Those they're getting pretty pricey. I know I mentioned that they're like $1,000. They can be $1,000, and you don't have control of what day or what time that those things run. You could be at 3 a.m. on Wednesday night. Worse, you could be like, what would be a worse time than that? Like 7 p.m. on Wednesday? Because isn't Wednesday in the U.S. the biggest drinking night in the entire year, the night before Thanksgiving? Everybody's at the bar, and you got a lightning deal there, just crickets chirping, your products collecting dust.
Nothing's
and you're
going
just like,
on.
what is happening? Actually, you're probably at the bar drunk,
yeah.
and then in the morning, and when you get up, you're like, "Why didn't I make any sales?"
Having my lightning deal. Yeah.
Yeah. No, good point, Eric. I think that it does boil down to is just what worked, what didn't work. Put those down. You don't want to sit there and not document it and then do it again, right? And doing the same thing again. You're going to have the same results. They're not going to be different. I guarantee it. It's going to be the same thing, if not worse. Another good thing too is where a lot of people see what your competitors are doing on Amazon, right? How do you stack up? How do you stack up? How's your, look at your listing and look at their listing and see how the two, if you have other tools like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout or anything like that, obviously you can do segmentation and really get into granular data. But if you don't have any of those particular tools, you've got your eye, right? You've got your eye. You can kind of have a look at some of those listings as well and just research what could you have done better, right? You're not necessarily looking at their sales, because if you don't have the tools, you won't be able to look at their sales or how successful they may have been. But you can, do the eye test, right? Especially if there's a lot of importers coming in, you're American brand, you're a branded based product. Is their messaging better than yours? Then you might have some problems. Are you doing, look at your social, right? Have you driven a lot of traffic off of platform to Amazon? A lot of people don't do that. They rather do it to their website. But I'm telling you, if you change your cadence a little bit and maybe like 1 in 10 posts, one of them goes to Amazon, you'll slowly start getting some increase on the indexing, a little bit more increase on your. I think your BSR could go up. You have a little bit more creative tools on the advertising on Facebook. You can target certain geographic locations, so you can be a little bit more targeted. So if you look at your sales history and say, hey, there's tons of people in California that buy my product, I'm going to do a social post just for Californians or maybe a certain city and drive this one product. Hey, that's great. You don't have to necessarily broadcast it to your whole page. You can be really targeted on what you're trying to do. So just be mindful of that. But yeah, there's so many different things, but data's king. So analyzing data, Eric hit it right on the nose on that. I think it's super important to be prepared.
Amen.
And then one last thing.
Final
I
thoughts
always
here.
forget.
Perfect.
Well, not necessarily a final thought, but it is a thing that you need to check too is your pricing health on the day of. Pricing health on your day of, you could have a malicious competitor make up a fake website, takes your listing down. You could have a reseller come on. Like there's so many different things. So make sure that you're just poking in and checking your pricing health, because it's a tool that Amazon provides that sometimes is overlooked, because you're going to be like, why are my sales down? You go to pricing health and it's because your listing is shut down.
It's deactivated. Yeah. Ooh. So that could be something. Yeah. None of your competitors are above that. I hate to say it. So gentlemen, thank you for coming on again to talk to me about one of these crazy sales holidays. Any final thoughts for our sellers out there that are going to be working on this and really striving to be the best they could possibly be on this holiday?
Don't panic. Just go with your plan. Stick to the plan, and you'll be just fine.
There you go.
Just plan ahead, stick to the plan, and things will work out.
Don't be afraid to try. Try different things. So don't be afraid.
Amen. Isn't that the moral of life? I thought we were talking about Prime Big Deals Day, Prime Big Deal Days, not life itself. But anyway, we were. So, gentlemen, thank you so much again for coming on and talk to me about this. I'm excited to get this out and just get sellers informed for this big holiday, and again, how they can maximize their success. If you learned something from this video, feel free to give us a like. If you want us to talk about something in particular, something specific, feel free to drop a comment and we will get around to it. Thanks everybody for watching. I am your host, Velocity Pete, and we will see you next week.